Well, hello everyone, and welcome to this Smackdown review. Now, if you guys have been following my live streams, you know I'm not really been feeling really well. I am kinda getting better. My nose hasn't really been, I have been sneezing a lot, but I feel like my nose is getting better. Still got a bit of a sore throat, so there's probably gonna be cuts coming into this video because I'll probably, feel like there's a cough coming and I'll probably cut from time to time. So let's talk about SmackDown. And this episode was another pretty good edition of SmackDown. We began with Roman Reigns, and I'm just gonna say this right now. I'm kind of getting bored of Roman Reigns kicking off every single SmackDown. I mean, it's getting repetitive. It is really getting repetitive. I am not liking it. It's getting very repetitive. WWE just needs to change it up. Like, I get it. Roman's a heel. I get it. We like this new Roman. But kicking off every single SmackDown with Roman Reigns, it just gets pretty damn boring. Why can't we start off with Sasha Banks, the SmackDown Women's Champion? Why can't we just dive right into a championship match, Or a big match, Get the fans excited. Do something different. I mean, starting off with Roman Reigns every single show, it gets boring. And sure, I can say the same thing if it happens. And yes, I'll say the same thing if it's with Drew McIntyre as well. It's just tiring to see Roman Reigns just start off every single show because we just know what to expect. And look, I'm enjoying Roman as a heel, but I'm being honest. I'm just being very, very honest. So what happens here? Adam Pearce announces that there will be an Elimination Chamber match. Roman Reigns will have to defend inside it. But Roman and Paul Heyman go against Adam Pearce's wishes, and Roman Reigns refuses to defend his title inside the Elimination Chamber. So Adam Pearce then decides to make it a number one contender chamber match. And the winner of that chamber will face Roman Reigns. This obviously, and Adam Pearce allows only two superstars to go into the chamber without qualifying. One being Jey Uso, and the other being Kevin Owens. So Kevin Owens is once again getting another shot at the Universal Championship. So our first match is a tag team match between the Mysterios and Sami Zayn and King Corbin. For some reason, the winner of this match will get to go inside the chamber. Okay, whatever. Okay, whatever. Sami Zayn and King Corbin win this match, which is a bit of a surprise. I didn't think they would. But hey, I don't really care for the Mysterio family. I would probably rather Corbin and Zayn in there. You need three heels. Technically, you need three heels and three babyfaces inside the chamber. We've already got Kevin Owens, who was the one babyface. You got Jey Uso, who was the only heel. Now you got Zayn and Corbin, who are the other heels. So I guess overall, it made sense that Sami and Corbin won here because of who goes in to the chamber next. So we have a couple of backstage segments. After this. We have, I think we had Sasha Banks appear backstage with Reginald. And it seems like Sasha Banks' feud with Carmella is still going. I don't understand that. I don't understand how is Carmella still a feud for Sasha Banks. I just don't understand it. And also we had Kalisto, standing next to Sasha. Kalisto was there. I don't know what Kalisto's involvement has anything to do with Sasha Banks and Reginald. Are they teasing a mixed tag? Is that what WWE is teasing us? Are they telling us there's going to be a mixed tag involving Sasha Banks and Kalisto against Reginald and Carmella? Is that what they're trying to tell us? Is this what they're setting up? I know Sasha and Kalisto are really good friends in real life, but Kalisto's involvement is just very surprising, and to me it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But he's there. He's there. So I guess at least Kalisto is getting TV time. So I guess it shouldn't really be, that big of a deal. So then we had Big E. He came out for an Intercontinental Championship match. Intercontinental Title Open Challenge. He wanted new competition. But Apollo Crews, or should I say, Apollo, would come to the ring. And he would demand another title shot. And Big E would tell him no, because he's had multiple chances. Apollo would not leave, but Big E would say, bring out my next challenger. And that next challenger happened to be Shinsuke Nakamura. And by the way, Sonya Deville announced another tag team match. It was Cesaro and Daniel Bryan taking on the Smackdown Tag Team Champions of Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode. I kind of find it hilarious that Dolph Ziggler is trying to manipulate Sonya Deville. Because I believe it was around about this time last year, or close, or kind of close, around about this time last year, Dolph Ziggler and Sonya Deville were working together to stop Mandy Rose from dating Otis. So I find it hilarious that Sonya is now, against Dolph after what happened last year. So I kind of find that a little bit humorous. But anyway, Shinsuke came out for the challenge, but Apollo would cause a disqualification. Seems like Apollo Crews could be on the verge of a heel turn. And to be perfectly honest with you guys, I think Apollo definitely needs a heel turn. I am not against Apollo turning heel. I'm not against Apollo turning heel. Because why not? Let's give him a go. Why not give him a go as a heel and see how he goes? Because, this is his first time ever being a heel. So why not? So why not? Why not? At this point. So Apollo seems to be now turning heel, and because Big E, Big E, wants to move on to other competitors not named Apollo Crews. And then we had the return of the Messiah, Seth Rollins, and Seth Rollins came out to his old music, The Second Coming. Burn it down! He would come back out to that music, and I'm not gonna lie, that genuinely surprised me. Because I thought he was still known as the Messiah. I ultimately assumed we're going to hear the Rising again. But, no. Seth Rollins comes back, and, he comes back with his old music. And he claimed that having a baby changed him. Before long, once again, declared himself the leader of the locker room. And then all the superstars were at the ring. All the superstars were at the ring. And they all ended up leaving. They all ended up walking away because they weren't buying Seth's crap, I guess. One big thing to take notice here is Sasha Banks again. If you guys notice, her title belt had different side plates on them. If you guys are aware of Sasha's title belt and the side plates she normally has, she normally had the red ones that said legit boss on them. But this time she had new ones. she had new ones. This time one said Sasha Banks and the other one said it's boss time. You know, there's definitely one thing I will talk about Sasha Banks. I'll get to that in a minute though, because there's definitely something I want to say about Sasha Banks. Because I'm kind of getting a little bit worried for her and her title run, you know, as we go along here. So Seth returned with his old music. Everybody walked down on him except for Cesaro, who was still there at ringside. And Seth believed Cesaro understood his vision, but Cesaro said no, he doesn't. He would proceed to walk away, and then Seth would attack Cesaro's knee. So Cesaro would go in injured into his match with, into his tag team match. So Cesaro seems to be now turning face. This is a bit of a weird turn of events, I'm not gonna lie. So yes, Cesaro is now a face, which is quite surprising. So, yeah, pretty weird turn of events. Apollo goes heel, and now Cesaro goes face. So now we move on to Bayley versus Liv Morgan. And Billie Kay, who looked incredibly gorgeous, would come to the ring trying to apologize to Ruby Riott for what happened. And Billie, you know, seemingly not doing anything wrong at all, because everybody seems to be putting the blame on Billie Kay here. And to be honest, Billie didn't do anything wrong in this scenario. In this scenario, Billie did nothing wrong. All that happened was Billie was just trying to apologize to Ruby Riott. She was trying to apologize to Ruby Riott for what happened last week. Ruby would get frustrated, and Ruby Riott would smash the resume papers out of Billie's hand, and the papers go all over the place. And again, this catches the referee's attention. This wasn't on Billie. I see a lot of people talking shit about Billie Kay, saying, oh, Billie is doing this just to get revenge on the Riot Squad because of what happened with the Iconics. What did Billie do here that caused Liv to get distracted? She didn't do anything wrong. She didn't do anything wrong. It was Ruby. I don't understand. I don't understand how people do not understand storytelling. Billie was doing nothing wrong in this scenario. She was just wanted to apologize. She just wanted to apologize, but Ruby was so frustrated, she just smacked the papers out of her hand, the resume papers. And it just got to the point where I was like, how is this Billie's fault? Because the commentators were building it up as Billie Kay's fault. How is Billie Kay distracting Ruby Riott, or even trying to apologize to her, counters it being her fault exactly? Billie didn't try to distract Liv. She wasn't getting Liv's attention. She wasn't trying to get Liv's attention. To be perfectly honest, I feel like Billie has more something against Ruby than Liv. Because I feel like throughout the entire build of this whole angle between the Riots and Billie Kay, to me, Liv seems to be more the nice one. She seems to be more nicer to Billie, while Ruby seems to be the one that's pestering, that's being a bit of a pest and doesn't want Billie Kay anywhere near them. So to me, if Billie Kay is screwing anybody, it's Ruby Riott, because Ruby has something against her. Ruby has something against, Billie Kay. But Billie, in this scenario, guys, whether you want to agree with it or not, Billie Kay did nothing wrong. She did not do anything wrong in this scenario. She did not do anything wrong. She did not cause Ruby to lose. She did not do anything wrong. And that is my opinion. She didn't do anything wrong. Billie Kay is innocent. So then we move on to the Street Profits taking on Otis and Chad Gable. and the Street Profits would get the win. Didn't Sonya say that she would only give the Street Profits their rematch if Montez Ford's foot or whatever he injured was 100%? He seemed fine here. He seemed fine in this match. So give them their rematch, Miss DeVille. It was a decent tag team match. I definitely do like Otis and Chad together. I really do like the Alpha Academy. I think they're a pretty good team. So now we move on to Sasha Banks yet again. Sasha Banks is all over the place on this show. Well, good. She's the face of the company. She needs to be on the show multiple times. So Sasha Banks would come to the ring. She admitted that she's been having an eye on Bianca Belair. Bianca would come to the ring. And then following this back and forth between Sasha and Bianca, Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler appear. I know, very surprising to see Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler appear on Smackdown. They appear on Smackdown and they feel left out of the spotlight? I don't get that. But, Sasha and Bianca would start poking at Shayna and Nia. They start showing clips of what happened to them on Raw. You know, getting embarrassed. Shayna Baszler losing to Naomi. Nia Jax landing on her hole. You know, that's the running gag these days. You know, the whole, my hole! My hole! My hole! Gag. You know, they've beat that to death. You know, it was funny the first time, but holy crap, was the my hole stuff just completely beaten to death. It was so beaten to death, I do not understand how people can still find it funny after people making multiple videos about it, multiple memes about it. I don't know how you find that funny anymore. Yes, I found it funny, but am I going to do it, am I going to meme it up 100 times a day? Absolutely frickin' not. Sure, the my whole thing was funny, but there's no need to frickin' jam it and beat it senseless. And yes, Nia Jax landed on her hole again. So this is becoming Nia's thing, landing on her hole. Shayna and Nia were embarrassed of Bianca and Sasha showing those clips. But Sasha and Bianca would overwhelm the women's tag team champions. And Nia would land on her hole. And Sasha and Bianca would do a double team on Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. Well, I'm so glad Shayna Baszler has really become a real threat to the main roster, because everybody's been talking about how Shayna Baszler was going to be one of the most dominant females coming up to the main roster. Yeah, she's been very, very dominant. Getting her ass kicked by Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks, losing to Lana, losing to Naomi, losing to Liv Morgan and Becky Lynch. Yeah, she is so dominant. She has become so dominant, I don't take Shayna Baszler seriously. Now, is this leading to a women's tag team title match between Sasha and Bianca against Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler? Why? Why would you do that? Why would you even do something like this? Like, this is, like, I don't understand why having Sasha carry 2 titles is important. Especially Bianca. You've got her, you had her win the Royal Rumble. So I didn't understand why Nia and Shayna were even involved in this entire segment. Now, I don't want Sasha or Bianca to turn heel. Well, I would want Bianca to turn heel. But I know for some weird reason, just so many people want Sasha to turn heel. I think you people are failing to understand, if Sasha Banks turns heel on Bianca Belair, she is 100% losing at WrestleMania. You're not going to have her turn heel and you're going to have her win at WrestleMania. It's not going to work that way. If she's heel, she's losing. Sasha Banks should not be turning heel anytime soon. There's no need to turn her heel. She's the face of the WWE. She's the face of the company. She's in this position. She's being positioned as the top female on WWE programming. The whole NASCAR's thing. But that's not the whole point of why I wanted to talk about Sasha Banks. I wanted to talk about Sasha Banks because I'm kind of getting a little bit worried for Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks' entire title run, ever since winning that title, has been her feuding with Carmella. She's been feuding with Carmella ever since she won that title. And I don't understand. And I don't understand it. Why has she constantly been in a feud with Carmella? How is constantly continuing her feud with Carmella going to get her to WrestleMania faster? You have so many other women that you could choose from. Chelsea Green, Bayley, Liv Morgan, Ruby Riott, Natalya. You have so many women to choose from. But no, for some reason, Sasha Banks versus Carmella has been a fantastic feud. We need to keep this going. And no, I am joking when I say this has been a fantastic feud. It hasn't been a fantastic feud. Sasha Banks has made Carmella relevant. And WWE clearly knows WWE clearly obviously knows this. If Carmella isn't feuding with Sasha Banks, what do you do with Carmella? So, they obviously don't know what to do with Carmella, so they're just like, well, let's just keep her feud with Sasha Banks going. The reason why I bring this to your attention is because this is starting to worry me. It is starting to worry me because to me it's starting to feel like Naomi's title run. Because this is exactly what happened to Naomi. Naomi had a one-off match with Charlotte. She had a one-off match with Charlotte. Yeah, I know, she had a rematch with Alexa Bliss. You know, a lot of people like to bring that to my attention. But to me, I don't really care about that. To me, that doesn't really count because, well, she is the champion. It's not like her feud with Alexa Bliss continued. Alexa Bliss went off to Raw after that rematch. So I personally don't really count that. Yes, she had a one-off match with Charlotte. And then for the next 3 months, I think it was. I think for the first 2 months, or maybe the first two, yeah, I think the first 2 months, Naomi had no challenger. And then she had 3 matches back-to-back with Lana, and then at SummerSlam she versed Natalya, and then she dropped the title. Sasha Banks, to me, feels like she's in the same boat here. She had a one-off match with Bayley, which was her rematch, and then it's been Carmella, and then once we get to WrestleMania, it's going to be her and Bianca Belair. Are you seriously telling me that WWE is actually going to take that title off of Sasha Banks? There's still so much that you could do with Sasha Banks as the SmackDown Women's Champion. Taking that title off her is a mistake. Treating her as a transitional champion just to get the title on Bianca Belair is a mistake. Now, I don't care if my throat gets sore on this occasion or it starts coughing like crazy. Well, I'll definitely cut that out if it does get crazy. But what I'm trying to say here is that Bianca Belair, and I don't mean to offend anybody, or I don't mean to offend any Bianca Belair fans. Well, actually, you know what? It doesn't matter if I do or if I don't. if I do it or if I don't, because either way, my words will offend somebody. I feel if WWE has Bianca Belair defeat Sasha Banks at WrestleMania, Bianca Belair will be shoved down the fans' throats. Because look at how you've been booking this woman. You had her win the Royal Rumble in her second attempt. Second attempt. It is very rare that someone would win the Royal Rumble in their first attempt. Like Brock Lesnar. He won the Royal Rumble in his first attempt. Shinsuke Nakamura. He won the Royal Rumble in his first attempt. It is very rare that someone wins the Royal Rumble in their very first attempt. It's even rarer for you to win it in your second attempt. I feel like Bianca is being pushed really damn heavily. And look, I respect Bianca as an in-ring performer. I'm not the biggest Bianca Belair fan myself. I'm not really into the whole EST thing. I'm not really into her whole shtick. I'm not really into her whole gimmick and shit like that. But I really feel as if she's about to be shoved down the fans' throats. And this is the biggest problem that WWE has. Sometimes they'll get very carried away. When they want to create a new star, they'll push them way too quick. They'll push them way too quick, and then they'll eventually get bored. WWE will eventually get bored of Bianca Belair. And their other habit is pushing someone way too late. That's their other habit. They have two habits that they can't break. It's either when they want to push someone, they'll push them so quickly that the fans will not appreciate, WWE ruining something. They'll get so upset that WWE will ruin something, as like in Sasha Banks' title run here. And honestly, I'm just going to say this right now. I don't think I'm really going to enjoy this. Despite I know people like Bianca Belair, and I'm not the biggest Bianca fan myself, but if Sasha Banks loses at WrestleMania, I am not going to be enjoying this. Sasha Banks deserves a lot better. She deserves more than just feuding with Carmella. She needs to feud with other people, other than Carmella. And giving that title to Bianca Belair right now, it's too early. It's too early for Bianca Belair. It's way too early. It's way too early for Bianca to be a champion. It's just too early. Sasha Banks needs to be the SmackDown Women's Champion after WrestleMania. And she needs to end her little streak that she has going at WrestleMania. That's because she's never won at WrestleMania. So I really am hoping that Sasha can end that at WrestleMania. So we had Daniel Bryan and Cesaro versus Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode in a Elimination Chamber qualifier. Daniel Bryan and Cesaro would win. And then a all-out brawl breaks. All hell breaks loose. With everybody who is in the chamber causing destruction. And Kevin Owens comes out and he just starts stunnering everybody. Seriously, you may as well rename Kevin Owens Stone Cold Kevin Owens. Because seriously, he just stunned everybody. That is something Stone Cold Steve Austin would do. Come to the ring, stun everybody, and then stand tall. You may as well rename Kevin Owens Stone Cold Kevin Owens. Anyway, that is all I got for this SmackDown review, guys. It is still quite long, despite me having a bit of a sore throat. But I hope you guys do enjoy this review. Hit that thumbs up if you guys did enjoy. Comment your thoughts and opinions down below. And I will see you all next time.